Hey, good to see you. Welcome back. This is Global News Morning, and it is a pleasure to be talking to Matt Lee once again. We're wishing him a happy new year. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm great. Happy New Year to you too.
We're talking, of course, a new year and a new home. Maybe you're looking to spruce things up. Maybe you need a bigger space. There's a whole lot of options here to consider, and you're going to talk us through some of them right now.
Yeah, we get into a new year and we get into a fresh new outlook. We want to look at what we want to do moving forward, and maybe the family's growing. We start with different options, and the family being one of them, and we say maybe it's time to look at something bigger.
Yeah, there's lots of options out there.
That's correct. Yeah, we can look at the different sizes, and we look at the two-story. All the bedrooms go upstairs, and you got a lot more floor plan on the main floor. Maybe that's an option for a bigger family.
Yeah, you might be looking for a bigger yard for a growing family, maybe more space for storage.
Yeah, we get into features, and we're looking at these different pieces. Maybe you're gardening. Maybe it's time that you want a pool. If we go into that situation, some people want big yards to play soccer and baseball and put a rink out there, but some people might want some space to have a little bit of greenery, and then they might want to put that sport court, or they might want to put that pool in, and that will be their home entertainment area.
Hmm. And some people looking for a second home as well.
Yeah, you could either move to a waterfront house or move to a bigger acreage, or you could have it. And some people do have second homes. They have a spot where they can go in the summer, and maybe it's winterized, maybe it's not, and they have this piece as a getaway. So maybe that's an option that they want to look at.
There's a corner lot in my neighborhood. Whenever I drive past it, I could see what looks like a very large shed in their backyard. It might even
Yeah,
be a bunkhouse, it looks like.
yeah. So that's a totally different show, but there's actually an interesting thing that the Ontario government just put out recently, and that it's called the secondary dwellings that we've talked about, secondary suites in houses. They've actually added a third, and that's something different that we'll talk about. But the third unit that can be on a property has to be an accessory building. It
Hmm.
can't be one building with three units. So you're right, it could be.
Yeah, that is a future show. That's fascinating. So, yeah,
Sure.
rather than maybe expanding up or expanding out,
Yeah.
expand separately within the property.
That's right. It has to be. That's the code. Is they actually made the third unit be a separate building. So it's neat.
Huh.
So it looks good. We'll talk. We'll get into that sometime for sure.
Well, the opposite, of course, expanding is to maybe downsize. Maybe you're getting older, maybe you're retiring.
Yeah, absolutely. We go through these Christmas times and holiday times, and we look at this, and people look at how big their house is, and maybe they're putting things away, and they're thinking this place is really big right now, and maybe it's time to downsize. Maybe it's time to look at a condo or a bungalow. Maybe it's time to look at renting as well. It's not all about selling and buying. It's about, maybe it's time that we look at what are the rental options out there, um, to see if that's what fits best. Maybe it's turnkey, and that's what suits you. So it might be something to look at.
And for maybe older people, retirement living could be an option or assisted
Yeah,
living.
there's so many different options. Yeah, exactly. So assisted living, basically you have your own apartment on a floor, and there is staff on hand to help with medication or food or whatever you would like, and you can go into these buildings, and it's really well set up. There's no question. I have a lot of clients that have gone into places like this, and if there's a thought of that, it's like anything. I would go and do a tour to see what you think of it, and start there, and then maybe if it's further past that, and maybe go into a retirement home where there's full care, and something like that, and again, you look at the different places to go, and have a look.
And for those who are looking to buy for the first time, lots of phone calls to be made, of course, to your financial
Yeah,
institution and to a real estate broker agent.
yeah. So the first call is to the mortgage broker. You want to know what you can afford, because then what we can do is we can identify where you want to be for the size of house. Different locations are going to cost a different amount. So I think that, figuring out what you can afford, but also what you feel comfortable with. You know, if you can afford 500,000, but you like the payment at 400,000, then you have to really think about that. You know, it's something along the lines of you don't want to stretch yourself, you don't want to feel stressed. So you have to really look and identify what you want, which starts with the mortgage broker or the bank, and then we go forward and then then you do your research.
And rather than relocating, some people might love their neighborhood. You might want to renovate.
Yeah, so this is another option. It's not all about moving. It's maybe sometimes somebody says, "I don't want to leave this neighborhood," and you have a big yard, and you think, I have enough room that I could do an addition to put a family room on the main floor off the back, and I could do some extra space on the second floor, or I have a bungalow style, and I could expand the basement and the main floor. So you look at the plans and you see if the layout is going to work for you and the cost.
Lots of things to consider. And again, it is very important to speak with a professional. Matt Lee, we thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the show about putting up a little bunkhouse on someone's property. This is going to be fascinating.
We'll do that soon.
Okay, take care.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.